Hello everybody, this is the Love Yourself Guru and welcome to the Love Yourself TV and welcome to day 17 of Ramadan 2022 with the Guru. And today's word is consistent. We're going to be defining what the word consistent means, and we're going to be taking a look at what you are consistent in your life, God willing, and maybe, God willing, integrating some positive things to be consistent in your life. So let's begin. Now, if you look at the word consistent in the dictionary, it says acting or done in the same way, unchanging in nature, standard or effect over time. And here I've just written down a few quotes that I found on being consistent. Consistency is more important than perfection. To be successful, you have to be consistent. The key to success is consistency. What you do every day matters more than what you do every once in a while. And what I found is that we're all consistent in something, whether we're aware of it or not, either consciously or unconsciously. We are all consistent in things that we do. Now, how do you define whether what you're consistent is? And they don't have to be big things. Most of the time, we're all consistent in very little things, but these little things every day, they accumulate over time. So it's really defining and looking at what you're consistent in, the little things that you do. So how do you know what your consistent is? Well, look at, let's look at your health. Are you healthy? Well, that means you're consistent, God willing, in a good few habits. Are you unhealthy? That means you're consistent probably in a few things that aren't benefiting you. Are you happy? That means you're consistent, God willing, in doing things that are putting you in a state of happiness. Are you unhappy? Well, there's something consistent going on there that's putting you in a state of unhappiness. So you're always consistent in something, and whatever you're consistent in is creates, God willing, your reality. And whatever you are consistent in magnifies as you get older. I mean, magnifies. So, for instance, you find people that, let's say, for instance, people that are very happy when they're younger, and they've been consistent in taking up activities that create happiness. You'll find when they're older, it just magnifies, and then there's just this bundle of joy. Same thing, for instance, if throughout the years you've been very consistent in getting angry, or very consistent in keeping resentment in there, or frowning, then you'll find that will magnify when you get older. So whatever you're consistent in increases, creates your reality, God willing, and over time magnifies. So it's really, really, really essential to know what you're being consistent in, and especially in Ramadan, because in Ramadan it's almost as if, like I've said in all my sessions, it's like a boot camp, but it's almost as if it's a time where we reflect on our lives, and it's a time where if we've not been living consciously, if we've been unconscious about certain things, Ramadan is a time where we really become conscious of everything in our lives, and it's a time where, God willing, we change things for the better. So now, God willing, this year 2022 is a time for us to be conscious about what we are consistent about. So what do? I've written down 3 things that in this Ramadan, if you could integrate into your life and be consistent in for until the next Ramadan, God willing, it will change your life. But before we do that, before I get into those 3 things, I really want you to take 5 or 10 minutes, okay, of your day, or even half an hour, that would be lovely, and really reflect on your life. Really reflect on the state that you're in. Are you, God willing, the majority of the time, are you in a positive state, or are you in a negative state? Just really reflect on your life. Reflect on your life. And then I really want you to reflect on what things are you consistent in. be it positive or be it negative. So for instance, if you're in a negative state, then it's going to be consistency of negative things. You're going to be more consistent in negative things and positive things. So just write down a list of things that you're consistent in. Small things that you do every day, small thoughts that you think every day that accumulate over time. So you've got now. So first of all, you've sat down and you've taken the time to reflect on your beautiful, wonderful, precious life. Number two is you're going to actually reflect on what things you're consistent in, the negatives and the positives, and then see which ones are you more. Do you have more positives or negatives? And then maybe write down a list, God willing, of little things. I mean, little things that you could maybe be consistent in that will, over time, until the next Ramadan, God willing, would make a very big difference. And over time, God willing, when God willing, you're 100 years old, God willing, it will they would magnify. God willing. So that's the first thing to do. And like I said, make them very small. So before I went into the Love Yourself Guru thing, I actually had a habit of if I wanted to do something, it would have to be so extreme. Like so for instance, if I wanted to start exercising, it would have to be 4 hours a day. Whatever I did, I always had to go to the extremes. And my sisters would always say to me, would you stop doing that? Would you stop doing that? And they were right. And over time, it wouldn't last. What I always started off to do wouldn't last until I really went, deep soul searching, and really went deep into my studies, and really went deep into my Love Yourself movement. Love Yourself movement. And then it's a habit that I've taken on. I've been consistent in this habit. I've been consistent in being consistent of taking on little things. So I don't take on big things anymore. So if I want to start exercising, I'll do 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. If I want to start reading, I'll do 15 minutes a day. Whatever new habits I want to be consistent in, I make sure that they're small. So that they can sustain over time. So it's not about writing down big things, God willing, that you're going to be consistent in. Those small things will become big. Okay, so let's talk about 3 things, God willing, to be consistent in, to find something to be consistent in until the next Ramadan, God willing. So the first thing is one thing between you and your Creator. Just one practice between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, between you and your Creator. One practice. So for instance, if you're not praying, for instance, let's say for instance, if you're in the habit of skipping your prayers, and just until next Ramadan, God willing, just start doing one prayer. Just say, you know what? I'm going to try to do all the prayers, but this one prayer, I'm not going to miss it. Salat I'm not going to miss it. I'm going to be consistent in it. Or reading one page of the Quran every day. You're not going to miss it. Or let's say, for instance, having a little chat with your Creator, 10 minutes a day, sitting down and talking to your Creator. You're not going to miss it. Choose something small and write it down. And write down, God willing, until next Ramadan, God willing, you're not going to miss a day of it. God willing. And this will really, 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 really strengthen the bond between you and your Creator. Because when you're consistent, it grows over time. So just choose one thing, God willing, between you and your Creator, and make it small, God willing. Number 2, choose one thought. Choose one thought that you think every single day till this Ramadan, till next Ramadan. One thought that's always on your mind. It could be every day, in every way. I'm getting better and better. I love myself. God is great. My life is amazing. It's a brilliant day. I'm doing so well. Just choose one positive thought, God willing, one positive thought, and keep it until next Ramadan. and keep on saying it until next Ramadan. It's a habit, so you'll be known for not only thinking this thought but saying out loud, it's a wonderful, brilliant day. Like I'm known for always saying it's a wonderful, brilliant day, and I give a kiss at the end of it. So just choose one thought, and this thought, it's amazing. If you're consistent, if you find one positive thought and you're consistent in it, I promise you, God willing, God willing, God willing, by next Ramadan, it will restructure all your other thoughts. Absolutely brilliant, life-changing. So choose one thought, be consistent in it, and think it over and over and over again. So we've got one practice with your creator, one bonding practice, God willing, with your creator. We've got one positive thought until next Ramadan. And the next thing is one thing to do for your body, because your body, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, has given us our body. It's our shell. It's our shell. So one thing, one small thing, it could be, okay, so you know what? I'm going to start walking 10 minutes a day. You know what? Every day I'm going to look in the mirror. I'm going to say, I love you. I love my body just the way it is. I love you. It could choose one thing. It could be, so for instance, you know what? Every day I'm going to start drinking more water. I'm going to drink, for instance, more water every day. Choose one thing, God willing, one small thing, and be consistent in it, and God willing, leave it until the next Ramadan. And so those are the three things that I'm going to do it with you. We're going to do it together, God willing. I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to write down the three things, God willing, that I'm going to be consistent in today. Today, I'm going to sit down. I promise you, I'm going to reflect on my life, and I'm going to say, okay, the Love Yourself Guru, what are you being consistent in? Okay? What are you being consistent in? And what things could you be more consistent in? Small things that could create, God willing, even more positive effects, God willing. And then I'm going to sit down, God willing, and I'm going to write down, God willing, one thing that, God willing, I'm going to do this Ramadan till the next Ramadan, God willing, with my creator, one with my creator. Number two, I'm going to choose one thought that I'm going to keep from this Ramadan to the next Ramadan, a positive thought, God willing. And number three, I'm going to choose one thing for my body, just to do one thing, one small thing, God willing. I love you loads. I hope you have a brilliant, beautiful, absolutely amazing day. And well done, we're on day 17. God bless you all. God bless the whole of humanity. And I'll see you tomorrow, God willing.